Hey guys, this is Joel from the Fincastle Pokemon Gym. It's been a busy few weeks, and sorry I could not get a video up last week. Hopefully what I've got for you this week, even though it's a little late as well, will make up for that. Now while this week's video is one of those ideas where I literally threw everything I could think of into one deck, it somehow works. It may still be in that deck garage category, meaning that there are surely some ways to refine this list into something more tournament worthy. With that said, I love how quirky it is and how you can play it multiple ways. Now, the deck I'm talking about centers around Mega Latias EX, and if you are remotely familiar with it, you may be wondering, is it a hit and run deck, a box deck, a big hitter, or what? And the answer to that question is yes. Let's look at the card and go from there. A Mega Latios EX is a basic 280 HP Dragon type Mega Evolution with 2 attacks, no weakness or resistance, and a 1 energy retreat cost. The first attack is called Strafe, and just for 1 colorless energy, or basically any type of energy, it does 40 damage, and then you may switch to the bench. You don't have to, but you may. And the second attack is called Illusory Impulse, which again, don't know where they get these names sometimes, but it does 300 damage for a Psychic, a Fire, and then a colorless energy, and then you must discard all energy attached to it. Now, the first glance of either of these has obviously had most people just writing this card off, because I have not seen it in anything since its release. But as I hope you see if you watch this channel with any regularity, I find the potential in all kinds of things nobody ever looks at. I'm going to pull up the list as I talk about this so you have time to absorb this. It is a hit and run, yes. Now, the first strategy is to get Brute Bonnet down, poison yourself and your opponent, attach a Mochi to the Mega Latias EX, and get the Perilous Jungle Stadium in play, which allows you, with all of that, to strafe for 80 damage, and then switch into Beacherunt, which allows you to poison for 80 damage between turns for a total of 160 damage for 1 energy. That does sound like a lot to set up, and I guess technically it is. It's not as hard as you think, which is why there are full lines of Research, Carmine, and 2 of the Squawkabilly EXs, so that you can just take your first turn, maybe first turns, and dig as much as possible early in the game. And this part is key, because if you don't apply a lot of early pressure with the poison and that hit and run attack, this deck does not succeed. But while your opponent tries to figure out how to deal with this bizarre line of Pokemon, you have a big hit play in your pocket whenever you need to use it. Now, Illusory Impulse has a base damage of 300, but just remember all of the factors I just talked about used to boost Strafe, or at least most of them anyway. The Beacherunt doesn't come into play, but when you poison yourself, Mochi takes that attack up to 340 damage, and when you poison yourself, you're also poisoning your opponent, and if they are poisoned with the Stadium in play, that gets you to 370 damage in between turns. Now, more often than not, with Mega Latias being a Mega Pokemon, which means it costs you 3 prizes whenever it is knocked out, you will find yourself in a lot of situations or a lot of games where you just have 1 prize card left, and that means that your Blood Moon or Saluna EX can attack for free. That's 240 base damage, plus 40 more for the Binding Mochi. And I think I actually said it wrong earlier there. It's actually be 3 more damage for the poison if you have your Stadium in play, because poison is 1 damage between turns, the Stadium adds 2 more. That actually gets you up to 310 going in between turns from your Blood Moon or Saluna, and that is all for absolutely no energy attached to him at all. Now, looking at this list of Pokemon, I'm sure some of you are wondering what the Volcanion EX is doing here. Short answer, because I like him. But what Volcanion brings is another way to pile on some condition damage, as you can send him up after a knockout to be your active Pokemon. Then you can burn your opponent, and you can retreat for free because of your Latias EX. And then you can strafe with Mega Latios, promote your Beacherunt, and you know the rest. But that's not all. The other play available with Volcanion EX is attaching an energy to him on your first turn, and then charging him with a Crispin on turn 2. Now, this is not the way I go, because as you can see, I don't have a lot of energy in this deck. But if your opponent is weak to fire, it is a very easy way to get a cheap knockout and move energy down to either your Mega Latios EX or your Blood Moon or Saluna EX, just depending on what you're playing against and how that game is going. Now the item line may be a little indicative of how this deck could still use some refining. You can see I have one earthen vessel because if you need it, which is rare, you can get it with the A-Spec secret box. Secret box of course lets you get out an item, a tool, a supporter, and a stadium all in one search. That's very strong in this deck. I've still got one Pokegear in here because I think I had 4 when I started. I just haven't taken out that last one. The Pal Pad, however, is necessary because sometimes you throw away a lot on your opening turns, and you definitely want your boss's orders back if you had to toss them. I don't think I had mentioned the energy count in this yet. I'll probably talk about it several times over the course of the rest of this video, but for now I just run 2 each of Psychic and Fire basic energy, and oddly enough, that never seems to be a problem because I run the 2 super rods, which you can see. I mentioned boss just a second ago, so let's go and move over to the supporters. There are 4 copies each of Research and Carmine. I love going first and using Carmine and then Squawkabilly EX on my first turn because your choices are much broader about what you can do on turn 2. But if you do go second, which I also like, you often get a knockout on whatever is active on your first turn. I don't know that I have a preference of one over the other. You just try it both ways and see what you think. Now I run 3 Crispin, which probably doesn't make sense with just the 6 energy, 4 of which are the only ones that can be searched with the Crispin, but it really is just to have the consistency to pull off Illusory Impulse once. You can do it twice if you use your super rods properly, but either way, whether you knock out a Mega or if you take 2 EXs out, I generally play to take my last knockout with the Blood Moon or Saluna EX, so I'm not really focusing on using that attack more than once, definitely not more than twice. And as I stated earlier, you can make that same play using the Crispin with Volcanion EX, but I also said I don't do that very often. It really is only worth it in a match where something is weak to fire, especially if it's something big, because with the Binding Mochi and poisoning your Volcanion, that attack hits for 200, which times 2 is 400, and that should take out just about anything. And while I'm on this page, the one thing that I am 100% confident about with this list is that you do need the 4 Perilous Jungle Stadiums. And that is for the same reason that you want the 4 copies of Ancient Booster Capsule. Let me flip back here to that main page. You want 4 of each of those because you want poison to be a factor every turn of the game. Now the last thing to mention is the Jet Energy. They could just as easily be another Fire and another Psychic basic energy, but the Jet Energy does give you that option to get Volcanion into play during your turn, retreat to him, get him to the active spot, burn somebody, and then attach that Jet Energy to Mega Latias or to Blood Moon or Saluna and use it to get that Volcanion back out of the active spot. Now those areas are areas I'll talk about maybe at the end of the video that are definitely ones to focus on probably for some change to this list. I really don't have any blueprint of how to play this. My board looks different almost every time I play it. That all depends on what I start with and what my opponent is playing and how they react to what I do. Now, one of the delays in getting this video out was that I had a bunch of games recorded, but like always, there were a lot of games with Dragapult and Gardevoir and Grimmsnarl and the Mega Absol / Mega Kangaskhan EX deck. And playing those matchups does get kind of old. So luckily I did have time to play a series with Logan, and we recorded that. So I've got 2 games for you with him, which delayed editing on a weekend that we had a show in Tennessee, followed up by 5 inches of snow, which again is why this video is late coming out. But hopefully you'll enjoy watching the back and forth between us trading blows with 2 pretty massive megas. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. Now let's go strafing. So Logan and I are going to play a couple games of his Mega Charizard EX against my Mega Latios EX. Spoilers there in the opening title, you'll see this is a game loss. I'll be able to pinpoint the moment for you where I made the misplay that cost me the game. We'll get to that when we get to that. But I think one thing to point out in playing in this format with Megas is you do have to kind of recalibrate how you think about your opponent and what you need to knock out, because those Megas take 3. And sometimes you can win a match by just taking out 1 Mega and a couple other things. But I did choose to go second. Like I said, he just attached and passed to me. I'm trying to get to that turn where I can hit and run into my Peach Runt. Already dug with Pheasantipity, missed him. Dug with Carmine, missed the Peach Runt again. So got 2/3 of the way there. Gonna get a Bravery Charm down on Mew, because I think that's what I'm gonna have to hit and run into. Get my free retreat Latias down. I don't think I talked about that much in the opening of the video, but that is kind of another key part of what makes this deck work. Tried one more time with Mew to see if I could just draw into that Peach Runt and missed it. So I will just hit and run. We'll strafe and get to 90 with the poison. On his turn, he got a little bit of a start there. Wasn't a whole lot to show, and then he just drew with Cleffa. Got that hand filled up. He does have a Charmander down. So I got the Peach Runt now. I'm going to retreat my Mew, come up with the Latios, and I'm going to go ahead and finish off this Pheasantipity EX. I've already got it damaged, so you don't really want to waste that damage. So strafe with the Stadium and the switch into Peach Runt will get us there. There's the 80. We'll swap in. There'll be another 60 coming to him. That knocks out the Pheasantipity. Get my first 2 prizes. Off of those, get that Ursaluna and that Secret Box. Those are actually 2 very important prizes. Back on his turn, I just caught him in about mid-turn. He rare candy to Mega Charizard, then played the Fire Breather and got 7 energies in his hand. So Oricorio can now do its thing. You can only rain dance those fire energies with him if you have a Fire Mega in play, and he does. Got a second Oricorio down. And because he had to use the Fire Breather, he doesn't have a way to catch anything. This is actually a pretty smart play here. He's going to go ahead and get energies down onto that Oricorio. Charged up the Charizard as well. Then he's just going to retreat to the Oricorio and use it to knock out this Peach Runt. I think it does like 110 with its Fire Wing. It's enough to take out a little basic. So back to me. Top that Pokegear. Trying to hit boss with it. Would have changed what I could have done this turn. If I'd hit it, I'd missed it. So I'm going to go ahead and Nest Ball, get down another Peach Runt. And then we're going to play Secret Box. Going to have to toss some things. Nothing super important. Toss a Breed Bonnet, Nest Ball, and one of those Crispins. Get that boss. It's really the only thing I needed out of this hand. This is the misplay that cost me the game. We've got 4 prizes left. I needed to take a knockout here. I was thinking we'll get some damage on the Charizard. I should have just taken the Charmander, because then I could have focused on that Charizard for the last 3. But we poison him with Breed Bonnet, and we'll strafe, get our 80, move back into the Peach Runt, get that additional 60, actually 80 because it's not a dark type, get him to 160. So back to him. He's going to go ahead and evolve that Charmander that I should have knocked out to Charmeleon. Pay the retreat cost off that Mega Charizard. It's got a 2 energy retreat cost. Then send up the Oricorio and basically replicate that play from before. Just use it to knock out the Peach Runt so he doesn't have to risk any more damage on that Mega. Use the Superior Energy Retrieval to get back 4, and can use Oricorio's Excited Turbo to dance those down, get that Charmeleon ready, and recharge that Mega Charizard. Then with Fire Wing, we'll knock out another Peach Runt. Get down to 4 prizes. On my turn, I top a Super Rod. I'm going to go ahead and play that. Put in Bonnet, Pheasantipity, and another Peach Runt. Going to use my Crispin. Really like to be doing this against the Mega Charizard, but got to get a at least a 2 prize knockout here. So we will get Psychic and attach from my hand to charge up the Illusory Impulse. Go ahead and get down my Blood Moon Ursaluna, and then we will hit that for 300. Don't need to poison because the Oricorio is only 190, so don't need that extra damage. Take 2 prize cards there, another Crispin and a Turbo. So he gets to his second Mega Charizard. Plays Arven to get Super Rod and Air Balloon, or Superior Energy Retrieval and Air Balloon, excuse me. I'm going to go ahead and do that and get 4 energies back. Going to have more than enough to blow up my Mega Latias. So use Excited Turbo, dance 2 down there. Extra 1 onto each of the Mega Charizard EXs. Cleffa has free retreat. Sends up the undamaged Mega Charizard EX. And I have to do increments of 9, so he does 360 damage, and that is 4 energies off of his field. I went ahead and moved ahead in my turn. I tried to see if there was another play to make, and there really is not one other than to use my Blood Moon Ursaluna play. So I got the Mochi on him, poisoned him, got him to hit for 280. With the poison, gets him to 310. That is the max he can do. That would be enough to get most things, but just not enough to get a 360 HP Mega Charizard. So he will just burn the remaining energy that he has and one-shot that Blood Moon Ursaluna and take his last prize card in the first game. So with game number 2 approaching, I do have a little bit more of a strategy of how to approach this Mega Charizard deck. I chose to go second again. Started with the Volcanion, so those plans kind of took a little bit of a left turn. Don't want to bench anything else with that Volcanion. I know my bench space is going to be a little tighter. So I'm going to go ahead and get Squawkabilly and toss everything. And again, TCG Live is kind of showing me that it really doesn't like me. It's going to give me a whole hand of things that I don't want to throw away with Carmine. So I'm going to try to use as much of it as possible. Super Rod back in. The first 3 I threw away. I'll attach the fire to Volcanion. And then I'll Carmine away the other Super Rods. So my Super Rods are gone. Plus I had to toss a tool. We'll go ahead and use Scalding Steam to burn that Reshiram. And then we'll poison with Brute Bonnet. And that's going to be about all I can do. That last game I could not get Crispin out of my hand. I hope I can get one in my hand. With the energy on Volcanion, I'll be able to attack with him with a Crispin on my next turn. But we'll see. Get the damage on that Reshiram. He gets to Mega Charizard EX and can get Reshiram out of the way. So passes back to me, does flip out of the burn. Accrues a little damage on the way back to me. I top an Ultra Ball. Again, Ultra Ball away those Carmine, as they're apparently cursing my hand this game. Use it to get down my Mega Latias. And then just going to research and toss away another tool. Again, I'd love to have that Crispin play, but it's just not happening, so I'm going to attach Psychic to my Mega Latias, and we will reapply the burn with Scorching Steam and pass back. Still no energy on that Reshiram, so unless he can get a air balloon, we might be able to keep it trapped. We'll see. It's on his turn. He gets further set up, attaches that Reshiram, but cannot get it out of the way, so gives it back to me again. Does not get out of the burn. On my turn, we top a Pokegear. Of course, he Iono'd me on that turn. It did not see that. Iono'd me into the Crispin that I needed. So I'm going to go ahead and play Crispin. Volcanion is just sitting there accruing damage himself, so we're going to go ahead and get some mileage out of him. Use the Crispin and charge up his attack. And we will Scorching Cyclone for 160. Move that fire down to that Latias, so if the Latias can survive, I've got him set up to attack the Charizard. Got 2 energies on him. Back on his turn, you see he's using his Oricorio to get energy down, and then he's going to Iono away the enormously large hand that I had. That actually keeps me in the only thing that I really need, which is an energy. Just need one more on Latias. That's assuming he's going to come up with the Mega Charizard, because he cannot knock it out. Cannot knock out my Volcanion with that Oricorio. Dances a few more fire down and does exactly that. Comes up with Mega Charizard and only has to burn 2 energies to finish off that Volcanion. So after he takes his 2 prizes, I'm coming on to my turn. Really just needing the Stadium to be able to one-shot this Mega Charizard. I've got all the other pieces I need. Went ahead and attached. Gonna Ultra Ball and just get that Pheasantipity and try to draw into something to get my Stadium. So we'll use that. Flip the script and actually get the secret box. I'm going to have to use the secret box and throw everything else away, including a Mega Latias. But that will enable me to get my Perilous Jungle Stadium. You see I got Pal Pad there, so we'll go ahead and put back in a boss and a research. Got a research off the secret box. We'll go ahead and use that as well. And off of that, got that Ursaluna in my hand. I don't want to put that down, because this is all the energy I have. I think if he realizes that, he could just catch that Ursaluna, kill it, and end the game. So I'm going to Illusory Impulse. Still have trouble saying that one. 340 with the Mochi and the Stadium will get me to 370. So it's a one-shot on that Mega Charizard. Now back on his turn, he sends up a fresh Mega Charizard just evolved to that one. Use Superior Energy Retrieval to get back 4 fire. You got a boss. Doesn't really need to catch anything, and what he needs to take out is right in front of him. So he plays the Arven. Use a Nest Ball to get down a Baby Reshiram. That's interesting. Gets the air balloon on that Mega Charizard EX, and then we will get some excited turbo off of Oricorio and attach fires down to that Reshiram and to the Oricorio. And that gives him more than enough. And a discard 3 to one-shot my Mega Latias. So coming back to me, it leaves me with the only play that I have, and that's pretty much the way this deck is designed. Try to get down to this Blood Moon Ursaluna. I got him down on the bench. I put the Binding Mochi on him. Again, he does not need energy to attack because Logan is at 1 prize card remaining. I'm just Ultra Balling here just to thin because I've got to get a boss. I can do that off of Pheasantipity by just trying to improve my chances. So we'll flip the script, and there is the boss's orders. I've got that Latias CX down to give him free retreat. Then we will boss up. I guess we'll just grab the Oricorio. Doesn't really matter. Anything there on the bench will get us there. We'll use Toxic Powder off Brute Bonnet, poison both of us. That activates the Mochi. It didn't really even need that for the Ursaluna. But that gets the last knockout in the game. Now I know that I could drop the Volcanion, probably the Gear, maybe 1 Crispin, the Bravery Charm, and probably even 1 Booster Capsule, and streamline this list. Probably with a couple more energy, maybe another Super Rod, maybe a Counter Catcher, or something else. Perhaps just a straight Brute Bonnet and Crispin list would be competitive. I mean, anything that can deal 370 damage, maybe even on turn 2, if you can get that consistent, is worth a look. But I got to this list a card here and a card there, and started winning games with it, just like it is. So I guess that adage about if it ain't broke probably applies here. I do know that when I've messed with lists too much in the past, I've kind of messed them up, got them to a point where I did not like to play them, and I really like this one. But if you'd like the concept, throw it together and start experimenting. I know people paired it with Peacherunt and Brute Bonnet back when Mega Latias CX came out, but that was just that race for content that happens with every new set. And I really doubt any of those guys have played it since they made those videos, if they ever even played it the first time. But I've been playing around with this list for a while, and it is one of my favorite decks to throw into the mix whenever just playing with friends. So give it a look. Now that's all for today. Thank you guys for watching. Please continue to support the channel and share it with other players, because I think they'll find some fun ideas here. And check back here the Monday before Christmas, and I'll give you my thoughts on the best deck to give a new player for Christmas. Until then, get out and play, and be not afraid. Later.